Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome in. My name is Britton, and today we're going to be talking about something that is personally of such interest to me. We're going to talk about the philosophy, the history, the psychology, the meaning, and all of that good stuff on colors. And I do want to present to you just a little bit of a disclaimer. I am a student. I am a college student going into research with a main interest in sensation and perception. So I love colors. Thinking about how the brain perceives things, like that's what gets me going. As I said, I am a student going into research. I am not currently a researcher, nor am I professional in any way. So everything that I say is either based on theories that I have researched myself, things that I have researched in my personal time that I'm interested in, or research that I've done in school. My own theories, my own personal thoughts, and kind of just my own personal perspective of everything. So everything I say, you know, take with a grain of salt, but also I hope you learn a little something, or maybe you have a different perspective on some things, or consider some things. Let's get into the first episode of Brain Talks with B finally, okay? Alright, so I figured before we start talking philosophy, psychology, and purpose behind color, maybe we should talk about what color itself is, because I want you to ask yourself, what is color? Like, please just pause the video right now, go into the comments, and I want you to put your definition for what color is. I'll give you like 5 seconds to do that. So color is the aspect of things that is caused by differing qualities of light being reflected or emitted by them. So to see a color, you need light, okay? Light is like the thing that shines on the object, and then the colors bounce off of it, and then others absorb it by it. It's just a whole thing of like reflection being emitted and like bouncing back and forth, and absorption. It's weird. So it's kind of a hard concept to understand, and we're not necessarily going to be talking about like what color is. We're going to be talking about color theory. And what color theory is the study of how colors affect human mood and behavior. So it's like a child having a preference of a specific color over time due to like their favorite stuffy being that color. The brain is really cool, because not only does it perceive the color and it categorizes the color from it, you know, going through the retina and signals being sent off, it also develops a preference for colors, and it also develops a paradigm for colors. So now that you've asked yourself what color is, I want you to ask, where did color come from? Because like, obviously we've been seeing color forever. It's not like what I thought when I was a kid, when I thought everybody was just seeing in black and white until like the late 1900s. No, it's not how it happens, and your parents might get a little offended if you ask them that, but it's always been color, and it's always been there. It's just been perceived differently throughout the years. In like the Bible, of red and the meaning of red with Christ, and like the Red Sea, and so many different meanings behind red. Aristotle suggested that all colors came from white and black and related to the 4 elements of water, air, earth, and fire. So that was another interesting angle back in, that was back way when? That was back way back then. Oh gosh, okay. So there was the Albatross. That was a German aircraft from World War I, which was called the lozenge camouflage. And that applied Abbott's Thayer's theory to not be observed from the ground. And Abbott Thayer's theory basically was like, so you know those paintings where there's maybe a cat in the middle, but it's camouflaged by the rest of the painting because there's certain properties used in the painting and certain colors blended to camouflage it. That was from Abbott Thayer's theory. That was him who came up with that, and it's kind of still used to this day as like just a little fun psychology trick. Within marketing research, there is significant evidence to support that colors stimulate our decisions to buy things, and it is said that colors stimulate appetite. There's something that they're trying to portray with the colors that they choose. So color has been a question for quite some time. A lot of studies don't really find much of an effect, and a lot of people don't really believe in color having much of a purpose. It's kind of just a stimulus that's here to keep our brains going and such, which, you know, that is another purpose of color, but I feel like it's interesting to keep digging deeper, and there's a lot of history. Color was historically linked to human emotions. Carl Jung in the early 20th century was actually quoted saying something along the lines of like, colors are the mother tongue of the subconscious. He was a psychiatrist and a psychoanalyst, and he was greatly influenced by Sigmund Freud, although he didn't entirely agree with all of his theories. So in 1913 he actually founded analytical psychology, and he said bye bitch to Freud. He said bye, we breaking up, I'm doing my own thing. And so that's where he came up with like his own classification of psychological personality types linked to 4 colors. So you got the cool blue, which is cautious, precise, delicate, questioning, formal. You got fiery red, demanding, determined, purposeful. You have sunshine yellow, which is sociable, dynamic, demonstrative. And then you have earth green, which is sharing, patient, relaxed, that kind of thing. So his psychological types book, 1921, was further developed in the 1940s by Catherine Briggs and her daughter Isabel Briggs Meier into the Meier-Briggs 16 personality types, which also has associations and is a popular personality test that's still used to this day. I studied that in my classes. These two actually had no formal training in psychology, and there is no evidence that it is an accurate and useful tool, yet it is still used to this day. There was actually even evidence in ancient Greece, Egypt, and India that colored materials were used for healing. The first color wheel was produced by Sir Isaac Newton when he discovered the first visible spectrum of light. And around this time, color was thought to be the product of mixing light and dark, with red being the most light and blue being the most dark. Prism experiment, he noted that the white light is composed of a variety of colors, and he then mapped these colors into an octave schema, and the first color wheel and the original Roy G. Biv, which if you are familiar with colors at all, you will know exactly what I'm talking about with the Roy G. Biv. And that color wheel is the most similar to a color wheel we'll still see today. After his publication of Optics, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe began his own experiments with color. He had quoted that nobody can appreciate mathematics more highly than I, but that to understand the phenomena of color, nothing is required but unbiased observation and a sound head. So here are some other color systems that you might see. Now let's get into the environment, and my research is very vague on how to apply colors to your life, and it's not also set in stone, but there is some research that has some interesting outlooks that I feel like you might be able to take with you somewhere else. In interior design, color is seen as the easiest material to change the characteristic of the environment. So Fairman 2004, he thought that color is people's illusion, where the world is believed to be colorless. So it's only visible to the human eye where there is light present. Whoops, sorry, I kicked you. There's only been one research that has included the subject's color preference together in that. Because if you're gonna study color on somebody, you should think about the limitation of their preference for color. So that is one reason that a lot of these studies are actually not significant, is because a lot of them did not even think to consider the person's preference of color altering the findings in the study. So that's something that could be improved. People respond to colors differently in cultures, and not every color has the same language for categorization of colors, which is super interesting to me as well. And that's something I found super interesting in my cross-cultural psychology class. People often link colors to their emotions in their languages. You know, in English we say, you know, you're seeing red if you're angry. In German you say sehen rot or werden gelb vor Neid, which means turn yellow with envy. Something that we don't really see, and that means that they're angry, drunk, or envious respectively. There's associations between purple and sadness that only Greek people see, or Greek people respond with, and we can say that purple is actually the most controversial color of all. And to this day it's still controversial. If you've ever been in an art class and there's controversy between if purple is purple or if it's violet, yeah, that's what I'm getting at there, is that. But I've also done my own research paper on some cross-cultural color associations, and one of my papers that I did was based off of a research study that I read that was on sports and the effect of sports and bias in referees and the association between like blue, red, and white, I believe, or no, blue, red, and black. So they basically sat them down, they had them watch this video that was a computerized, you know, computer editing software changed the colors of their uniforms, but it was the exact same thing. And it was a wrestling match, I believe, that they watched, and it was a really good wrestling match, and it was really hard to determine between which player was doing better, and it ended in a tie. And then they had to judge who they thought did better, and it actually was seen that, you know, overall red and black were very similar in perception, and they're seen kind of as a more powerful color. Some teammates might actually get more offenses, or they might, oh my god, words. They might get more calls on them. I can't think of the word for it. I haven't played sports in many years. But they get more calls because of that color, because they're seen as more aggressive sometimes. And with blue, they're seen as weaker. People are less likely to bet on blue colored jersey players. And in England, Adrian Keith Graham Hill, he coined the term art therapy in 1942 while being treated in a sanatorium for tuberculosis. He suggested art projects to his fellow patients and observed the healing benefits. He published his work, and the book is titled Art versus Illness, if you would like to read. So as I was looking for the purpose of color versus the history, I was looking at The Hidden Powers of Colors by Patricia Thenish. This is a TED Talk you can watch on YouTube. And she talks about how the world's most favorite color is actually blue. And then she was the one that actually talked about how women and men see red differently, and that's why they can't do the lipstick shades, is because they genuinely see red differently. And I actually tested this with my boyfriend, and he could not see the same colors as I could on the sheet that I was using. So it is seen that you can save time by color organizing your apps. Her whole talk was about like how you can save 22 hours per year from organizing your color apps, because she tested it. She had organized her apps and she went about using them all the same, and she had just like seen how much time she had saved. Now, is this a great study? Is this a significant study? I'm not sure. I have not looked into her study necessarily. I don't know how she did it. She just said that she did it herself, so I don't know how others would go about that. But it is an interesting thing that I've never thought of, about how like you could save time by organizing your apps through color. And I do color coordinate my closet, and it does save me a lot of time. And just categorizing colors in certain instances, like even in work or in books and stuff like that, or in your stores, like it saves a lot of time. And it's just more efficient. People might be drawn more to it if they're saving time. Yellow can make you dizzy, so that's why you never see yellow in airplanes typically. Orange is seen to give you a warm, fuzzy feeling, or make you feel like comfy versus a blue wall can make you feel colder. There's something called a chromatic adaptation trick, which is like when you stare at that dot in the middle of the screen on a YouTube video. I'll place it over the screen now. Stare at that dot for a while, and as you're staring at that dot, just wait, and in a minute, when this disappears from the screen, you won't be seeing that anymore. It will like invert it to color. So it's black and white, but there's a dot in the middle you're staring at. Now it's switching. You see color. You think you see color, but it's still the same black and white image. So your brain craves color. It literally will force itself or trick itself into seeing color when there is no color present. There are also universal color correspondences or color connections that we have, and this is like universal through pretty much the whole world. Well, it's pretty universally known that like on a sink, red means hot, blue means cold. So this is something that we've learned over the years, and we automatically kind of associate with those colors. And that's something that our brain does. That's not like a physical property of the color. That's just something that we learn over time. Now I want to say there is a survey, an ongoing survey actually, that you can do, which is a testing your perception of colors and how you perceive colors. It is a awesome, huge, super cool study that is done in pretty much all locations except Antarctica, I believe, is where it's lacking. So if you want to go ahead and fill out that survey, it's going to be linked in my description. I thought it was super cool. As I had mentioned, there's Newton and Goethe. So Newton and Goethe were like the main color theory analysts or scientists, questioners. They were very interested in the color theory. And so they kind of also had like contradicting theories. And I myself believe in both. Newton, he was the prism. He was very analytical. He was kind of, you know, just a very scientific, logistical thinking kind of man. Okay, so he was concerned about the properties, and he's concerned about like just very straightforward logical approaches. And then Goethe, he is an artist. He is concerned about, he made the wheels. He's concerned about how colors are related to seasons and how seasons affect us. And he's related to proximity of colors. And he had a different approach to it. And while some may believe in Newton, some may believe in Goethe, I believe in both because I think they both had a great idea. Imagine there's Mary. Mary exists in a black and white world, and she cannot see color, but she can study them. Suppose she steps into her world with color. She's able to somehow. How would that change her perception? Would that change her perception as she's been studying color for all these years, but she's never been able to see them? But now finally she is able to see them? That's kind of what their backstory was for their theories in the color theory back in the day. And then even like today, look at today, like that colored dress, this one, there was so much controversy, but the only reason, like, it's just, we see colors differently. We genuinely see colors differently. Your brain assumes things, like we just constantly, we're assuming people, okay, we always assume things, and your brain is constantly trying to be like one-upping you, and it's trying to assume things before you can even see them. So like the brain probably assumed that it's a low-level light area, so they might have seen an entirely different color than you did, versus this person might assume that it's a nicer dress, it's going to be in a nicer lit area, so they automatically see better lighting and they see a different color. So that was another super interesting thing. That was a big thing back in the day for me. There's so many deep sea animals that have like certain, like, look at deep sea animals, okay? They have eyes that are basically adapted to see in the pitch black darkness, and they can see like almost like an infrared camera. Like they can see like thermo, they can see like warmths, and I don't know how to explain this in the right terminology. Cats have different colors that they can see. I know it's a trend on TikTok where you can see like what your cat perceives versus what your dog perceives. Do I know if that is accurate? I do not know if that's accurate, but I do know that is actually scientifically accurate that they do see different colors than we do. Do I know which colors those are? No, because I don't scientifically study animals' eyeballs, but I do know that they see different colors. Red is an attention grabber. It's powerful, it's appetite stimulating. So I'm wearing red and black today to be powerful, attention grabbing, not appetite stimulating, but more so focused on the power aspect of things. And then there's gray, which is for serious topics. A lot of lawyers wear gray or gray business suits to be businessy. It's good for that. It's not a attention grabbing color that might distract them away from the matter. And then there's blue, and there's a lot of associations with the sky and the ocean, which is why we, that's why, there was a reason why. That's why we have a lot of favorite colors as blue. Employees actually tend to make less mistake, 20% less mistakes when there's blue in the office, or if they paint their office blue. And then it also is a really great color for men on a first date, apparently. And then purple is a luxury color. It's royalty, it's good for gift wrapping paper. It's not really in nature. As I said, it's from snakes, so it's kind of just a luxury color. If you want to seem luxury or luscious, you know, have purple, wear purple. And then orange is seen to associate with success, high energy. Maybe try and do a little bit of an experiment. Say wearing like black, or I don't know, wear like pink clothes, okay? Wear pink clothes to the gym and see, like, rate yourself on your effectiveness, on your efficiency. Just rate yourself on how you did that week in the gym, and then compare it to how you did when you were wearing orange clothes. Is this a great study? No, it's not, because there's so many confounds that could be involved, but it's still interesting to see like how maybe that would affect you. Like I'm actually gonna be maybe trying that. I'm trying to think of a good experiment to actually test that, although like it's so hard to be ethical and like try to come up with an experiment just with me, because I know ethically that it's not significant without any other study members. But I think that'd be something really interesting to look into. There's so much, I could go on forever about colors, guys, but that is what I have gathered for this brain talk with B, which I feel like this is a good foundation of it. And maybe in the future, when I'm able to do my own research, I will have my own conversation about color again and my own theories to display with you guys. But as of right now, color is such a mystery and it is so interesting. So as we conclude, I just wanted to invite you guys to do a little rainbow activity. I would like you to sit down and just, you know, to have a moment to recollect yourself, or to relax, or don't even do it right now, just write it down to try it later before you go to bed. Just sit down and reflect. I want you to list, did I say orange? Okay, try it again. I want you guys to look around the room and say one thing that you see red. Okay, I see roses. I see my diploma. One thing that you see, orange. I see my guitar. I see a sunflower. I see a record player that has some orange in it. Yellow, my Winnie the Pooh stuffy that I have and my Winnie the Pooh onesie that I have are yellow. Green, my tapestry, my wall, my plants. I love green. Green's everywhere. Healing color to me, so I have it everywhere in my room. Blue, the sky is blue, but I also have blue paintings. I have my blue Stitch stuffy. I have my blue water bottle. I like blue too, so I have blue around me. And then purple. Purple I have a little bit lacking of. I don't have too much purple, although I do have purple in my Barbie the Nutcracker movie CD case, and I have purple in my Dr. Teal's nighttime spray. So I invite you guys to just sit down, maybe do that once a day. If you're having a hard time to slow down, and if you're just feeling really busy, just to ground yourself, to be a little mindful, just stop and see the rainbow. And also to end the video, I wanted to show you guys today, I took this picture this morning of sun dogs. My boyfriend had called me as he was on his way to work and he said, look at the sun, babe, there's sun dogs. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect for today. So that is my talk today, and I hope maybe you have a new perception on colors. I really strongly invite you, put your thoughts below. What do you think of colors? What is your theory of colors? What's your job assigned to colors? Like how do you use colors in your day-to-day life that you don't even realize maybe? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I know this is a little bit of a different video than what I'm planning to post out. I just wanted to kind of, I'm still figuring out my camera, okay? So I'm trying to improve my quality, but also not jump into all of the super deep, interesting topics right away before I improve my quality. So we're gonna see how this video looks. I'll catch you another time, and don't forget that anything is possible if you put your mind to it.